Whatever bench you go on. Here's Later out to the slot. Austin Matthews for Giordano. Return to Matthews. Got one off the glass behind Vasilevsky.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Let me turn this off and mute this. Oh, man. Hockey game's already 1-1. Hello, Miss Brenda. Good evening, Miss Carol. I hope all is well up your way. Hey, Doug, welcome in. Zippity-doo Doug has joined us, folks. Tina McNeil. Oh, Tina is fighting either, I guess you're fighting technological problems, right? Computer issues. Been there, done that, so I can appreciate that. I'm not trying to be slouchy, guys. I'm trying to find a somewhat comfortable way to sit. Since I don't really have to type much, maybe I won't have to worry about that. Let me know if the hockey game is bothersome. I'll move the TV. If it's, distraction or whatever. Hey, Cherie, welcome in. I saw James had posted pictures. I believe it was your James had posted pictures of alligators in Myrtle Beach. Myrtle's Inlet, I think. Hey, you want to hop up and say hi? Hey, you want to say hi? Not yet. His nap's not out yet. Hey, Diana. I do hope you managed to salvage a couple of donuts. Once he knew he was bringing all the donuts, he probably ate most of them. Who is playing? That is the Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, Cherie, is that a new thing up your all's way? I mean, let go of me. Let go of me. He doesn't want to be woke up right now. And I think Toronto's up 3-1, which is a surprise to me. I'm kind of happy about that. I'm sort of pulling for at least one Canadian team to make it this year. It's been a while. No donuts yet. Well, he's not home yet. He said he was going to be late. So, if you want to if you give me his phone number, I'd call him. I'd call him and tell him to stop on his way home. Oh, have no fear, Tina. He won't wake up. He laid here one night recently and slept through a really loud thunderstorm. Never even flinched. Okay. Well, I meant the Gators. I didn't know if you guys had a lot of Gators that far north yet or not. Or actually not that far north. They're in North Carolina too. I knew that, but I just don't think much. Well, right now, Tina, their Bruins are probably going to make it. I think they're up 3-1 too right now. Or are they? Now, they played last night? Did they win? I know this isn't the National Hockey League discussion center, but we can take a moment or two to figure this out. Okay. That makes sense, Tina. I mean, Cherie. They lost last night. Okay, because they were up 3-1, I believe. So now they're up. Oh, I got to look at that, Carol. I did miss that. Now my phone's spinning, so maybe it's not going to be on. I mean, my phone may not. And the Jets play tonight, Diana. They need to win desperately. They're also down 3-1. And Maple Leafs are up 3-1 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I saw part of that Panthers Bruins game, and then I didn't see the end. I thought they'd lost, honestly. They kind of got me messed up. There was only 2 games last night. I was looking for more. Are sheep or goats better for eating grass? Sheep probably, because if you've got the grass, they'll definitely mow it down. But now goats are handy for other things. Why are you done with hockey, Diana? Goats you could rent out goats, Tony or Doug. You could rent them out to the city when they've got overgrown lots or something, and they're good for eating up all the stuff you don't want out there. Some places actually use them to eat up things like kudzu. The reason I say sheep is they'll eat the grass right down to the nubbins, and goats they'll eat it, but they're not going to focus as much on it as I think sheep will. Goats tend to have other things on their mind, like jumping around, climbing trees. But they will eat just about anything. Snow is gone. Hockey should be over. No, Diane. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have hockey down here at all. Just shared a video on our chat, Tim, special for you. Okay. Should I go look at it right now? I had that open. I closed it. Bear with, folks. Yeah, Doug. Now, if you want to make a little side money, you could probably get sheep and goats. But the goats will, you can, like I said, you can rent them out they'll clear lots of weeds and invasive species and all kinds of things. Well put, Tina. I don't think Diana wants it till then either, but she's going to have hockey. She might have it longer than that now if the Jets lose tonight, I guess it's over. I mean, I could readily give up since our Predators didn't make it in at all. I mean, just a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Wow, that was good, Tina. Here you go. You mind if I share that? I'm gonna put it in here. If that comes through right, guys, that is oh, you've given up on the Jets. Oh, maybe this year. I like the painting goats. They're funny. not sure how well they eat, Doug. They are kind of funny though. Tina, just let me see if I caught up. I should have class videos there. No, Angie is not Sarah's mom, Carol. That's Angie is the lady that had the outdoor school. Sarah's mom is Julie. She hasn't been on the show yet. She's been here when the show was on, but I don't think she. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer Caruso is in the house, folks. What did she share? I keep missing it here. Oh, first plot. Oh, Amelia Earhart. Well, that's a good connection. I'm gonna have Sarah's dad on again sometime in the near future. I talked to Julie the other day, and he's been a little down. He hurt his back, and I don't know if he's actually been off work or not, but he's not moving. He wasn't moving too fast, and I told her I could sympathize with that, and then some. So the video Tina shared with us was a bear crossing the road. 3 little bitty tiny ones. I mean, smaller than Teddy probably. And not that that's little, but I mean, that was about as small as 3 as I've ever seen out running across the road. And Mom was having a little bit of trouble herding them all across the road. She eventually got them. I'm really surprised because usually when Mama says go, they go. Or if they don't, she'll swat their backside up a tree. Oh, well, good, Carol. That is good. I like that. She would like that too. We'll pass that along to her. Oh, I bet she did too, Tina, because mama bears they'll swat the little ones. If they don't do what she says, they'll definitely swat them and give them a good scruffing because they learn they're supposed to, I mean, if you read about black bears, you pretty much always read how the little ones, mama trains them. If she chuffs or growls or whatever, that she has a code. And when she makes that sound, they're supposed to get up a tree and stay there till she brings them down. Sometimes mamas do that when they're trying to wean them and separate from them. They'll send them up a tree, and it's so ingrained in them, they'll just stay there till they finally get hungry and come down. Mama's long gone by then. Yeah, clear into next week. That's right. And we said that around here too. Well, considering you'd have them for the whole year and you wouldn't have to pay them by the week, might be cheaper than getting it mowed. At least as cheap as a good lawnmower. Well, cheaper than most lawnmowers, Doug. I got to tell you guys a sad story. I may be drinking the worst pot of coffee I've made in ages. It's not the coffee's fault. It's my fault. I screwed it up. But it is not. Let's just say it's not been the best. Carol, you look it up and see if you can find us a mail order sheep place. I bet there's a place out there and we could find one. We could collect some money and send him a sheep. Well, babe, I tried to fix it in that metal strainer and it clogged up, so it wasn't pouring. And I tried to move it into a paper filter so I can do it that way because I didn't have any clean cloth filters. And I dumped about half of it, so it came out weak and just tasted like paper. I don't know. It was just a bad coffee morning, but I'm drinking it. Diana put a sheep in the chat. I didn't think to do that. I don't even know if I can do that or not. Oh, I can over here, can I? Bears like sheep. I don't think we've ever. Oh, there's the Tadward standing up. Hey, guy. Hey, buddy. You know what? I don't think we've. I know we've never fixed sheep, Brenda. We never have had a sheep, right? Or a fixed sheep of any kind. Here's a big woolly one, and here's the daddy sheep and the mama sheep, and the big bad bear chasing them up the holler. Oh, Doug, we should start a club, the He-Man and Grass Haters Club. I don't like to mow either. I can't mow anymore, but when I could, I didn't like it. Brenda always liked it, but oh, sorry, Jennifer. Oh, I hope I didn't fling a craven on you or something. Bad they don't have different color sheep. We can all pick one we like. There's goats in there too, I see. Yeah, I think sheep would be your thing. Like somebody else said, and Brenda said, and somebody else said, goats they'll do it too, but I just think sheep would do a better job when you're just talking about mowing grass. Yeah, that'd be good if we can get a twofer. Well, we have to pay, but it's not too expensive. Our yard's actually pretty small. I can't push the mower anymore. And Brenda isn't able to most of the time either. So I guess in some ways I wish I could. Oh no, Mikey. He didn't bring the donuts. He was supposed to bring the donuts. Oh, Carol's on fire tonight. Send him out for donuts, and while he's out, he can pick up a couple of sheep. I like that. Well, that's true, Brenda, but that's his whole point. He they'll clear it. He wants his grass mowed down, and sheep will do it. They'll mow it right down to the nubbin, so it'll be nice and short. Oh man, what time is it, guys? Hope everybody's safe tonight. I don't know if we got anybody in here that's in harm's way tonight, weather wise. No, nobody in here's from Atlanta, right? Rhonda's not in here right now. Oh no, what did I do? Or what? I mean, what did? I know. Oh, I know you were a squirrel counter, but could we hire you to be a sheep counter as a side hustle? Oh, so funny. Like I said, somebody's on fire tonight. And all them humorous synapses are popping and cracking. Well, we could go back and figure that out. I put it 2, Brenda put 3. That's 5. And I know there were some singles in there, so it might not be up to 12 yet, but it's, well, if you count the ones we've mentioned, it's probably up to 12. That's not tonight's topic. I was just kind of waiting to see if anybody else came in. And in fact, I was just checking the time. It's probably time to get going. I'm going to change gears a little bit tonight. Not entirely, but somewhat. And I'm going to be coming back to some more current events here in the next few days, or next week. But I was out driving my car, or had to go to the store earlier, and I was listening to a book on the radio and off my phone. Excuse me. And I've been reading a lot of Tony Hillerman lately, and I'm absolutely fallen in love with his Chi and Leaphorn books, and not just with them so much as everything when he talks about the Navajo life and the Navajo lifestyle and their religion. And if you read up on Tony, he was a retired police officer, I believe. I can't remember who he worked for, but he grew up, spent a lot of time when he was a young man with the Navajo both in school and on the reservation down in the Four Corners area. And when he decided to write his books, he incorporated a lot of the teachings and things in there. And I mean, he didn't make the whole books about them. If you've ever read his books, you know they're not necessarily about that, but they do talk about it a lot. And the thing that's cool about it is it's not just him making it up or reading it. It's him and his experience and learning. And I didn't know this until this afternoon, but I've been told by a reliable source that he's one of the few white men that's ever been adopted into or at least he has been adopted into the Navajo tribe, or was. He's passed away now. Because he did spend so much time with them and learn their religion. And one of the key elements of the Navajo religion was that they believed that everything in the world should be in balance. And they referred to it as walking in beauty or harmony. And so they didn't have a need to be greedy or want someone else's property, or because those things weren't balanced. They weren't part of their original teachings. And the other cool thing about that was if you got out of balance, so to speak, let's say if you went to war and perhaps you took a life, or if you just accidentally got involved in something, or if somebody passed away and you touched their body, because they had very strict rules and beliefs about ghosts and spirits and bodies. And if you were near somebody like that, a lot of times they would have what they called the cleansing ceremony. And they had cleansing ceremonies to help put you back in balance, to help you regain your balance so you can walk in beauty. And some of these ceremonies, I believe the basic clean. What happened? Did I go? I may black out, guys. I just went away on this end. I'm frozen. Now I'm back, but I don't know what happened. And boy, my picture is awful. Let's see if I can. Maybe it's clearing up now. Sorry about that, guys. It went black on my end. It was just a squirrel on your TV. Okay, I'm still on my side. It went black, and over here it just froze, I think. So okay, I'm back. No blackout for you guys. That's weird. Okay, maybe they didn't want me talking about it. A chindi. which is the Navajo word for spirits that left the body, they were known as chindi. And chindi could be bad if the person had a lot of stored up angst or hate, or didn't, wasn't living in balance when he died. Then his chindi might be evil and might do bad things to you. And there's a whole line of stuff that it was involved with dealing with corpses. And when someone passed away, if someone died in their house, their home, or hogan, then that hogan had to have a hole knocked in the north wall so the old chindis could escape. And then they didn't live in that home again. They moved out, built a new home. Apparently they are, Tina, and I'm going to have to be very careful about this before I go much further. And I bring this up because I definitely see a lot of a lack of beauty and harmony in the world. And I've got to make a confession. I don't always live so harmonious. If you pardon me for using that from Disney, but I don't always live so well in harmony. I was out the other day. I'm going to make a confession here and get a little bit of cleansing, so to speak. But I was out the other day. I thought about this tonight when I was out. And lately I've had something that's just been eating at me. Every time I go to the drugstore, pharmacy, they don't call them drugstores anymore, do they? Every time I go to the pharmacy, there are people there who refuse to get in the proper line so that traffic can flow and move through the parking lot, and also get in line so that they can traffic can move by you and you can get in line and get your pharmaceuticals. But apparently it makes a little curve as you turn into the drive-up window. And apparently now that everybody drives an SUV of some sort, big or little, nobody thinks they can make that turn, apparently. So they'll swing way out wide. And in doing that, they block 2 additional lanes of traffic, and people can't get by them. And then once they do that, the next person starts lining up behind them and behind them and behind them. And the other night I went over there, and they were heading down through the parking lot, but nobody was in the appropriate line. So I just got around them, and I went up to the appropriate line, and I pulled right up behind the next vehicle to the window. Needless to say, that did not sit well with those who were in line, even though they weren't in the correct line. But it had aggravated me, and I was actually going to let them go, but I wanted them to know that they were in the wrong place, that I was in the correct line and they were not, and this needed to stop. Ask Brenda. She has to try to tell me to leave this alone every time we go over there. And so this little old lady, probably younger than me, actually, this lady, she was a nurse. Now that I think about it, she had on scrubs. She got out of her car, and she was in line behind 1 or 2 other cars that were out of line. And she came up to my window and knock. And I rolled my window down, and I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "This car," she started pointing, "this car and this." I said, "You're out of line." I said, I'm in line. What do you want me to do about it? And she said, "Well, you can't do this. We're in line." And I said, "But you're not in the right place." And I said a couple other somewhat colorful words, nothing too bad now. And nor did I call her a name or anything. I probably said something to the effect of, "Now, that's BS because here's the line." Well, her excuse was that there was another car had gone through the drive-through and pulled through, and there's an area for that too. And they were over there, so they got in a different line. Now, I'm not sure what that had to do with them not getting in line, because that doesn't make any sense to me, and that car wasn't there when I saw it. So I said, "Well, that still doesn't matter. You're not in line. I mean, I can go right on in." And I told her, I said, "Look, I was going to let you go anyway. I just wanted you to know that you were out of line, that you weren't obeying the traffic lines." And she huffed off, went back to her car. And I did what I said I was going to do. I let them go through, and then I got in line behind them. Actually, there was somebody else, I believe, had started to get in line behind them, and I don't think they did, or maybe I pulled in front of them, or maybe I went on in. And I've got to learn to let that go. Now that's kind of a silly thing, and maybe you guys think that's nuts, but it's me being definitely not walking in beauty and not thinking, and just take a deep breath and understand that even though I disagree, even though I know they're in the wrong, that I've just got to let that go and let them do what they got to do. And then hey, Kelly, welcome in. The Mickey Bunch has arrived. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody, hit that like button and leave a note and subscribe if you haven't, if you're interested. I always like to give people the choice. I'm not trying to make anybody do anything. And I didn't post rules tonight, so I guess I won't bother with them. Not that I shouldn't have to tonight anyway, but this should be relatively calm. Who's in here? Who have I missed? I need to take just a moment. Have I missed somebody? I didn't see it. Is there I can't think of the word I'm looking for here. At my speedway, people just can't seem to read the sign that shows where to line up for the restrooms. I know, Carol. Doesn't that drive you wild? I wouldn't have done what you did, though. I would be afraid that'd hurt me. Well, I wasn't afraid she was going to hurt me, and it probably wouldn't matter who it was. I mean, even though I should have known better. But I just, it just got to me, and I let it get to me. And here's the thing: I shouldn't have. Tim, I would have done the same thing you did in line. Well, I feel like I had every right to just go on in front of them because they were out in line. It just drives me mad that people can't follow simple rules. But at the same time, it's not worth getting as upset about it as I do. I mean, I came home. I'm pretty sure I came home afterwards and just ranted and raved to Brenda, and she can deny that or confirm that, whichever. Except what was said, she's about lining up correctly. Who said that? I mean, what is Brenda answering here? I mean, and she's right. I don't need to get so upset. Mike says you can't read minds to predict the future. It's unhumanly possible. Don't worry about it. If they had a half a brain, they would have bought a smaller car. Well, here's the thing, Mike. I used to drive a full-size Dodge truck, twin cab with a bed on it. Full-size, four-wheel drive, the whole bit. That was my work truck. And sometimes when I was using it late at night or something and was allowed to drive it home, or had to pass by the grocery store on my way somewhere, if it was on the way, and pick up a prescription, I used to use that truck, and I could drive through the line and make the turn just fine and not hit a wall, not hit a curb, not hit anything. And that's not a problem. So that's another reason why it makes me mad. I told Brenda I probably should get out and give driving lessons or something, but Oh, Carol, Mike, is that why you didn't get donuts? People were like, I'm telling you, Carol's going to get the Golden Laugh Award tonight. My husband may have pulled up and blocked the line, got out of his car, and went in the store. Now, that's funny. In fact, that's funny all day long. I like that, Jennifer. That's I'll have to remember that next time. I might do that. And then come back, of course. But, I can just imagine their faces and the screaming and crying that would have gone on if I'd done that. But anyway, the point was I shouldn't have got that upset about it. I mean, I really shouldn't. It didn't do me any good. and they're still going to do it next time I go over there. Those people might not. They might try to do better, but probably not. And of course, everybody else who lines up over there is going to keep doing it. So I just need to get over it. Let's see what Brenda's got to say here. Now, if any one of you are out there right now and you're not in the correct line, you need to move it in. That's right, Brenda. I mean, it's not like it's not painted all over the road. See, I'm still not walking in harmony. My husband just gives a running commentary on other drivers. I have now learned some very useful terms to describe bad drivers. I bet I know some of those terms. Just thinking, I probably do. Brenda could expound upon that or not. How about the people who have to sample 10 flavors of ice cream before they decide? Well, now there's another thing. See, that's just another example. But those are all the, and here's kind of my point. Going to a bigger point, I hope. There's all these people in the world who are, in my opinion, kind of inconsiderate of others in that they do that. Now, and there's a lot of cases where that's just how it is, and you accept that when you get in the line. I mean, and I can almost see that with the ice cream thing. I mean, sometimes I have trouble deciding. But usually if I do, then I would get out of line. You may or may not be that kind of person. Oh, Kelly, it's okay. Brenda says, Jennifer, that's called date night. Now, what'd she say? Oh, ice cream. Now, wait, if they were wrong and you were setting them right, maybe you are walking in harmony. They aren't. Well, maybe I was trying to get everybody in harmony, Tina. That's a good point. But I didn't have to get so upset about it because I came home, I was still burning. And, I was upset. Here's the thing. I'm one of those gray-bearded guys that hates, and I apologize for this up front. I hate change. Most change in my life seems like everybody says change is good, and I can't really say change has been good for me anywhere that I can think of. Maybe it has, but I don't always see it. So I'm kind of set in my ways anyway, and I was always taught, oh, that's quite all right, Doug. I guess I was always taught to try to obey the rules. I mean, if the traffic line says turn here, then I try to be in that line to turn here. And you can ask Brenda that too. I probably drive her crazy, telling her which lane she should be in and which lane she shouldn't be in, so she don't cause other people problems. And a lot of it is based on trying not to mess up somebody else's harmony. And I just shouldn't get so upset. But I feel like, and that's my point here is this, we seem to all be living, not all, that's a hyperbole, but a lot of us seem to be living out of harmony. And maybe we need to find our own way to get back. We need to find our healing way or our blessing way that can get us back in harmony somewhat so we don't, so that we're not always on edge, because in the end, I have to take a deep breath and try to let it go, and eventually I will. And I do feel better. I mean, honestly, don't feel all that good when I'm all wadded up in a knot like that and upset over something silly like parking lot etiquette. But I'll go over there again. It is, Tina, and that is very true too. Harmony is hard, and it really is hard. I mean, I think probably everybody in here can give perfect examples of that. What bothers me in this day and age is how far we are out of harmony in so many ways. It seems like that we've got so many people that are ready to pull a Tim and jump all over somebody else because they're not doing what they like, or maybe they're the wrong color, or maybe they're the wrong gender, or I mean, we can't just walk in beauty and let things be and let things go to a degree. Okay, we got to go. Hang on a minute. I got to go back to. Let me get Brenda. Mike, you're next. My father used to tell us what a truck driver was thinking and what he was doing when we were on the interstate. That's because he were one. Yeah, he was a truck driver, so he had all that professional insight, and he was probably right sometimes. I mean, he was probably right part time too, I'm sure. Okay, let's see what Mike's got. I'm still on the parking lot thing. When I used to have our 3/4 ton diesel 4x4, it was a big truck, so I knew which parking lots I could maneuver through, and I would park elsewhere to do my errands. Well, that's thoughtful of you, Mike, and I know exactly what you mean. I used to have a roommate in Florida that had back one of the first double cab pickups I'd seen back then, and a long bed, so it took literally 2 parking spaces to, end to end to park. So every time he parked somewhere, he took up 2, and then he was kind of an, pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, he was kind of an ass, but at least he did try to park his truck out of the way. So I appreciate that. And I do the same. I used to do the same thing, Mike. If I was pulling a trailer for work and I had to pull in to get gas or get a grocery, buy something at the store, or get a drink. Stupid truck. Oh, Mike, we got to talk about you and your vehicles. That's the second vehicle you've mentioned, and Diana has said it was stupid. You had a stupid car, now you had a stupid truck. He's the State Farm guy that makes everybody get in the line, tighten the line. Yeah. I wonder if that's who it is, whichever company it is that, you're turning into your parents. I guess that's kind of me. It's not just the line that bothers me. I mean, there's other things that I let get to me, and I let them get to me, and I shouldn't. I should figure out a way just to look at it and grin and maybe laugh at them, but not quite get so wound up about it. Mike says that it was such a big truck, you had to step out of it to get your food out of the drive-through window because they couldn't reach that. That might have been a stupid truck, Mike, or at least borderline. Some of that too, Mike. That's kind of another topic we could go off on. But most of those, not saying yours was, you're driving in snow, but down here people buy off-road trucks like that, and they'll jack them up in the air. And there's no swamps here, and we don't get snow that's super deep, and they literally have to have a step stool to get up in them. And there's no real reason for it. It makes them top heavy. They're not as well bound. I mean, some of the ones I've seen, I don't know about yours. Diana said she needed a roofing ladder to get in it. And I quote, stupid truck. Yeah, I see a pattern here, Mike. Anyway, so I've got to make an effort to live better in harmony and let some of these things go, because if I don't, one of these days I'm going to have a heart attack and they're going to kill me. I mean, it's not like I don't already have high blood pressure. And unfortunately, I've probably been like this most of my life. I mean, if I really admit it, I probably have. No, I can't really. I have. Yeah, Tina, that's where I was going to mean to go. When I was pulling a trailer, I would always park out somewhere where I wasn't going to be blocking anybody or in an empty part of the parking lot. And, if I was taking up 2 spots, I was taking up 2 spots. Uh-oh. What's Brenda? Oh, my God. I don't like a side seat driver. He knows if the speed limit, if it's 50, I'll go 80 just cause. You guys know she is talking about me, right? Yeah, I think sometimes we see some of these events that happen, and I have to wonder sometimes if, not to oversimplify, but if some of these folks were living in a little bit more harmony in life, maybe that wouldn't be And so, like, you've never tried to tell me how to drive. I swear. Just remember who went to the store for you tonight. Says her husband does that too. Well, it's a man thing. Because he is awesome, Diane. Someone tell me why I married this guy. Because he's awesome. That's right. That's exactly right. And think of your beautiful son. Well, handsome. Get off. Yes, I'm deep down inside, I'm the get off my yard guy. Except I don't care about lawn stuff, so it doesn't bother me. That one doesn't bother me much. Because you knew he'd bring you donuts. Yeah, but Tina or Carol, that's a little bit of a sore spot there. I think you're rubbing that the wrong way on purpose. Oh my goodness. So anyway, I think I'm getting some banter here. So this is kind of a light subject, but it's really not. It is a deeper subject. And I had the same problem at work. I'll be honest. One of the biggest problems I had probably at work, my last job, was sometimes dealing with people who refused to do the right thing. And in some cases, it was legal things. I mean, and most often it was dealing with the tax-paying public, I guess I could say, but that's not entirely what it is. But we had landowners that we had to deal with, and a lot of those landowners didn't think, oh, the goats ate the donuts. Carol. Oh, we're gonna talk, young lady. What you been drinking tonight? You had a beer too? I wish I had. I've got it. I just hadn't got it poured. Where was I going with that? Oh, we had property owners. Here, I'll give you an example of the kind of people that we had to deal with sometimes that I struggle with. Was called a lady, or actually she called me. She got a hold of me. She was calling anybody she can get to listen. And since Norris was my reservoir, then she got me. And when TVA was created and they purchased all this land for the reservoir, when it was all said and done, we took big sections of it and gave to the state of Tennessee for state parks and a state forest and a state wildlife management area and stuff like that. We gave quite a bit of land away free of charge. That has to, in perpetuity, remain useful that way so it doesn't get developed. But anyway, so we gave this one section away to the state park, and it had, unfortunately, a strip on one part of the side of the park that was separated from the main park by a highway, U.S. Scenic Highway, no less. I won't say famous highway, but it went from the end of Norris up there to all the way to Miami. Yes, it went all the way down, I think. Anyway, eventually it didn't right at first. Anyway, that highway split this section of land off. Now, that section of land was divided from the main park, but it still belonged to the main park. And this lady calls me up one day and just ringing me out because I won't, or she thinks I should go to the state park and tell them to leave her alone because she had built her swimming pool on their property, and that's just too bad. It was her swimming pool. And I listened to her for a while. She went on and on and on about that. And she said, now, basically, what are you going to do about it? And I said, ma'am, the swimming pool is not on your property. What part of that is not clear? I said, it doesn't matter if it's your swimming pool. You built it on someone else's property. And she gave me some other answer, and she was fuming, to be honest. She was not in harmony. And I said, well, what if I came up there and built a swimming pool in your backyard? Would that be okay? Well, hell no, that wasn't going to be okay. So, you know, you have to work with people like that. And sometimes it's hard to stay in harmony or stay in balance like that. And I let things like that really bug me sometimes. Difficult people that wouldn't go by their contracts or their rules, that cut down. Mike and Diane, this don't apply to you, but it applies to all the other American citizens in this room. We pay taxes, and when those properties are bought and paid for with our tax money, they belong to you. They don't belong to somebody just because they built a house there. I mean, yes, they belong to them too, but they don't go around and ask all of us if they can cut our trees down. So anyway, what has Brenda done now? She's bowing. Diana must lock those bad boys. Mike must have been a looker. For you to take him. Garkey said, Doug, you're a smart man to listen to your wife. I predict that you will live a long and happy life. Oh my goodness, what have I missed here? I'm not allowed to get goats. The wife has spoke. Oh, no goats. What about the sheep, Mike or Doug? No goats, but what about the sheep? Tina's computer's on strike. I'm drinking a tasty beer, but I've only had a few sips. Okay, good for you. Brenda said Diana just must lock those bad boys. She must like those bad boys, because Mike must have been a looker for you to take him. And to which Diana laughed about it. Not sure what that says. Sounds like some of the stuff I dealt with. Yeah, I'm sure it was. You know, that's a concept most people couldn't figure out when it came to public lands and federal lands. Oh, no sheep either, Doug. No, it's just not. It's not fair. We had a good idea there. I think that would have been a great experiment. What if I write it up on paper as an experiment, and we do it for one summer and see how it works? I bet she'll grow to love the sheep, especially if one of them is with lamb and it has a lamb there, and she gets to have a lamb thing. Well, there's Mr. Dalton. Welcome in, Philip. He's having a tasty margarita and listening to hockey on Sirius XM. What's the score? Oh, never mind. I see what the score is. 2-1. Welcome in, Phil. I think I should have poured me a whiskey. That might keep me in better harmony. Hey, buddy. You finally decided to... You have a comment? What? Huh? He says he thinks everybody should live in harmony. He has his own kind of zen or harmony, don't you, bud? Yeah. You still half asleep. You still half asleep. He had a wrinkle there. He'd been laying on like a cowlick. Okay, let's see. And down he goes. He wasn't fully awake yet. Oh, yeah, bop that like button, buddy. And the Devils are up 1. Oh, well, they need to win too, I think. Yeah, he's looking mighty handsome. He's also, he's sitting there. He's still sitting there looking at me, and both eyes are closed, and his head's doing this. Once he wakes up, he's usually up for a few minutes. But Teddy think the Jets and the Maple Leafs are going to go to the playoffs together. Oh, they might do that. I think the Leafs are going to make it further in at least. Edmonton's, they're having a pretty good run at it too, but I think they're tied. Anyway, that's hockey talk. Hey, there's Dean. Welcome in, Dean. Is Dean going on at 9 o'clock? Yeah, I was going to watch that tonight, Mike. Are you staying up to watch the hockey game? I know we've changed the subject a minute, but I'll get us back in line just in a minute. Probably not. It's going to be a late game. He's got to get up and go to work in the morning, I assume. Yeah, I got something. I'm going to show you guys something. I laid a couple out here. Look at these. Look at these handsome boxes that my friend Phil brought me today. Look, check this out. It's got not dovetails necessarily, but keyed in joints. Gesundheit, buddy. You okay? My mom would have said scat cat, but I don't want you to leave. These are well made. These are they're cigar boxes that Phil brought me today because I like put things in cigar boxes. And these are really nice ones. Not cardboard, mind you, not pasteboard, real wood. Real tomato ketchup there, Eddie. Yeah, look at this one. It's got a sliding top on it. I mean, that's quality right there. And this one right here may be one of the finest cigar boxes I have ever seen. It's heavy. It's thick wood. I'm going to guess it's some sort of, South American rainforest kind of wood. It's got a really nice lock and hasp on it. I just realized that. And it's got hinges on it like a jewelry box might have. I mean, that's nice. I don't know what kind of cigar habit, what kind of cigars these were, but I'm thinking these were probably good. Or they should have been anyway. Thank you, Phil. I got a few more over in the box, but I got those up because those are absolutely my favorites. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get rid of the posted comment. That'd be a better idea. Oh, let me do it. Let me do them again. Here, this is the one I was saying was really nice. I mean, see, it's got a hasp that locks. And you can open it up, and it's built. It's got hinges like a jewelry box does. I mean, this is probably the nicest cigar box I've ever seen. And I've got a few around the house that I keep things in. And they're not pasteboard, like I said. They're wood. This one looks like some sort of rainforest type hardwood by the color. I don't know if you were able to see this one. This one's got a sliding top. And it also has the well done corners. I mean, these are tight fitting corners. This is not any slack work here. They've notched each of these. They're not dovetail per se, but they're like a dovetail and they're solid. Really nice. Handmade in this is made in the Dominican Republic. Jennifer, how do you spell your last name? Oh, no, this is C-U-S. You're C-U-R, aren't you? I'm looking for you again. I lost you. You're C-A-R, okay. A little different. Dominican, Connecticut. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, nice boxes. Now, back to the show. Mike, please stay up late. Then I get to bed to myself. Oh, hear that, Mike? So hopefully you saw those. I don't know if anybody else likes things like that or not, but I really like. I guess it's that old-fashioned part of me that likes stuff that appears to be old or is made like that we used to make things, or they used to make things. I can't believe my niece's husband was going to trash. Oh man, I can't either. if we get some more of them, I'm always game for more of those. But if you eat their legs, you may get some extra energy to mow your yard. Wait a minute. Who are we talking about eating here? Turkey legs or frog legs or? Okay, you're going live at 9. You got to see Teddy. Tina, who are you talking to there? You said something about posting a picture. I was just wondering who you were talking to. Maybe I hadn't seen it. Okay, back to the point. So anyway, I felt the need to purge a little bit, and no, yeah, unless you got a vegetarian turkey leg, she's not gonna do it. I knew you'd have the definitive answer, Doug. How does your wife feel about turkeys? But she don't like sheep and she don't like goats. I'm thinking turkeys are probably out of the question too. This be my guess. I could be wrong. Might as well go ahead and ask Doug. And then if she don't like turkeys, ask her about guinea fowl. They're good about eating bugs out of your yard. They eat ticks if you got a tick problem at your house. Oh, you and Teddy, yeah. We had a good picture. He come down the other night. This is the one you're talking about. And just got up against my face and just snuggled up and purred. And I guess he knew I was maybe needed a little extra comfort or something that night. Oh, no, she said no turkeys too. Oh, Doug, man, you're just batting. You're not having much luck tonight. Doug's trying to figure out how he wanted to know if sheep or goats would be best to mow his yard. I suggested sheep. If he wanted to clear lots or something on the side, goats would be better, but sheep might do a better job of just keeping your lawn mowed down to a nubbin. But his wife has said no to sheep and goats. Mike, did you mention, or Doug, did you mention the little baby sheep? I mean, they're cute. Actually, little baby goats are cute, but they grow up. Okay, let's see. I know I'm chasing squirrels here, guys. I'll get back on target for a few minutes. But anyway, so that's why I decided to talk about harmony. And I was sitting in my car listening to a discussion on there between characters of a book about living in harmony and how how they believed in that was, important, and then the fact that they had ceremonial singings or gatherings where they could sort of, wash that stuff away so they could get back in harmony. And it's actually, while it's simple, it's also a pretty interesting concept. I mean, I think most religions seem to have some way of relieving one's sins or washing away one's sins or whatever else they call it, or living with guilt. Maybe it's lying you struggle with, or there's usually some way out of that if you want to work hard at it. And while some people often think native peoples have primitive religions compared to others, and I'm not taking that for anyone, by the way. It's funny how thought out some of these things actually were. The wife has vetoed everything. Maybe you need to get her on here, Doug, and let us talk to her. I tell you what, Doug, bring her on the Saturday morning show and let me and Mark talk to her for a little while. Maybe we can change that. I promise you she'll go away with a different opinion about some of it anyway. Yeah, Phil, you got to be careful. Diana's in Canada, so they might not accept that since it's not Canadian. If it's not Canadian tequila, what's a Doug to do? Yeah, Doug, I'm really sorry, buddy, but I still think Dr. Tim's going to write you a prescription for you and her to come into the stream Saturday morning so we can discuss this obvious hatred or lack of love for animals. She's definitely not in harmony with the life around her. Otherwise, she would, why save the environment? Don't burn gas. Don't run a lawnmower. Let the sheep eat the grass, and then in turn fertilize the grass. And it's a cycle of life. Maybe hung the Lion King theme song while you're at it. Yep, Diana and Mike, Phil used to work for a Canadian company way down here in Tennessee. Anyway, I think if the world could get in a little bit more harmony, we'd all be a lot better off. And here comes, what did Diana, not Diana. I got something Carol said. Oh, there it is. I think it's important to teach children that everyone makes mistakes. Most of them are things we can rectify. I see too much of people denying responsibility at all costs. That's a good point, Carol. And I think you're right about that. I think we have to, like you said, we have to teach children that making mistakes is just part of life. And at the same time, as adults and teachers and parents, we have to learn how to also, I guess, if you will, forgive those mistakes and help our children learn from them, and not browbeat them, or not, punish them. Or, I mean, we got to work on how we deal with that on both ends. Yeah. There you go, Doug. You could shear the sheep and sell the wool. And Brenda, wouldn't you love to have a little sheep baby running around in the yard, maybe once a year? Think about that. It's also important. We have to acknowledge that we make them. None of us are perfect, and to learn from them. That's exactly right. If I really thought I was mistake free, I would probably be even more miserable than I can get when I'm complaining about somebody else's mistakes. Because there is no such thing. I mean, I've been around some people that didn't seem to believe they ever made a mistake. And it's really hard to deal with for all considered, all parts available. What is Brenda saying? A lamb, yes. You'd love to have a lamb. Watch it shake its tail. You ever seen a lamb shake its tail? They are fast. My dad used to say so-and-so was faster than 3 shakes of a lamb's tail. Well, maybe we are related, Tina. I was trying to think how to add to what Tina said about acknowledging our own mistakes. And pygmy goats are $300. Well, if I was going to get them for lot clearing, I'd get bigger goats than pygmies. But pygmies are kind of neat. and they like to climb up especially the kids like to climb up in trees. They're so cool when they're little. I don't ever forget. Brenda and I were driving down the side. This is a segue. It's definitely a squirrel. Driving down the road one day, and we drove by this farm, or so. It looked more like their lawn. Make a note of that, Doug. And we looked down, and there's a small tree growing in the yard, and there's like goats in every limb, little bitty baby goats all over that tree, like decorations for Goat Day or something. It was. Do you remember that, Brenda? I think pretty sure you were with me. It's back when we lived in Las Casas. Bet you can go down the stockyard and get them cheaper, Doug. Just saying. That's right, Tina. As we used to say, close, but maybe not cigars. No cigar. Anyway, guys, I don't want to totally give up on it, but think about that this week. Think about the things that you do or you watch or you see in your day-to-day life that just drive you batty and drive you up the wall, and figure out how you can let that go and get back in harmony with, and maybe somehow pass that along. I have a good quote here. Let me find this. Hang on just a minute. Wow. Oh, that's religious stuff. I was looking that up a while ago, and I forgot to pull that up. This is I don't know who this guy is that said this, but he wrote a book, I guess, Listening with Your Heart, Lessons from Native America. His name is Wayne Peet, MD. And he's referring to this living in harmony idea. And he says the complex Navajo philosophical, religious, and aesthetic, roughly translated to beauty. And the word, I forgot to give you this word. The word for it is hozo. And they spell it Hozho, or at least Belladonna, white men do. English also means seeking and incorporating aesthetic qualities into life. It means inner life and harmony, and it means making the most of all that surrounds us. It refers to a positive, beautiful, harmonious, happy environment that must be constantly created by thought and deed. Ozo encourages us to go in beauty and to enjoy the gifts of life and nature and health. And I thought that was pretty well said. I think I had another one, but I may have not kept it, which would be really dumb if I did, but I might not have. Without inner harmony, we can't have harmonious relations with others. Good point. That's why I can't, if I can't have inner harmony, those guys in the wrong lane at the Kroger are going to drive me nuts. In order to live in harmony with others, we must see them all as our equals. And I think that's also, a good point. It's just an interesting, I feel like it's an interesting concept. And I mean, I'm actually reading it in a book of fiction, I realize, but a book of fiction written by someone who had a lot of personal experience with the religion. And well, Carol, I'm not here to accuse anybody of it, but I'm sure most of us probably do. I've yet to meet anybody who, didn't hold some grudge or didn't resist some things. I don't know that we have to always be so good about just change for change. I always had a problem with change for change itself. Changes that make sense, changes that fix something, that kind of changes. I can live with that. But change just because somebody thinks we need to do it to I don't know, try something new. I don't always buy that. Mike is asking my wife if she has a heavy foot on the throttle. Well, the term leadfoot comes to mind, Mike. And she wants me to figure out how to let it go, like when she's driving 80 and a 50. And she's saying that, guys, but that's not a joke. And Brenda Carol says, I call that planning ahead. If one of you has an emergency in the car, you're already much closer to the hospital if you're driving 80 instead of 50. Carol, don't give her a reason. Oh my God, I'm going to hear that the rest of my life. And she says, just a wee bit. Apple didn't fall from the tree. No, it did not. I mean, I've looked over that speedometer way too many times and seen it way past speed limits, just cruising down the highway. It is an interesting concept. I have to give her credit for that. Oh no, that's Carol. Carol, you're not helping me any. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think everybody think about that a little bit. Maybe we'll have a test next Thursday. We'll bring that up a little bit and just see if we thought about it. That's not going to be the main topic. I'm sure I'll have something else. There's so much going on right now, and so much of it is so honestly stressful and worrisome to me that tonight I kind of wanted to think about how to get back in harmony in that regard. And I was going to explain something else. I've gotten a lot of this. I've been thinking about this a lot for the last year, probably. I've been reading a lot of books. While they're fictional, like I said earlier, the religious stuff and the Navajo ways are actual and very informed and true, because he lived with the Navajo a lot, and so I went to school with them and then stayed on the reservation in summers. I mean, he was there a lot with them, but because of that, I've also gone out and bought me a couple of books. Well, actually, Brenda's already fussed at me for those books about native religions, and I've always talked about it, and I've always picked up little glints and pieces of it as I read books. But I thought at the time I should get one out and get a book that really tries to explain it deeper, and I'm working on that. I haven't gotten into those yet because I'm trying to figure out others, but and Tina says, me too, Brenda. My husband is the same as Tim. I look over at the speedometer and say, why are we only going 25 and a 35? You guys, maybe because that's the speed limit? No, his mind is not for rent. Man, what did I miss, Phil? What are you talking about? I got to back up and find that in a minute. I'm here to help. Well, at least I help Brenda. Yeah. For any God or government. Okay, gotcha. I think I got you. Oh, Tom Sawyer lyrics. Okay. Diana and Mike. Rush. Phil's a big Rush fan. Went down to Phil's house a few days ago, and he had Rush on the stereo. I say, can we get there at least in the same day? I was working towards change. Oh, I got you. Is that part of the song too, or is that your comment, Phil? Diana's on timeout. Did somebody time Diana out? I didn't. Brenda, did you do it? Let's see. Can I bring her back in? I don't know. Brenda did it. She deleted Diana's question. I'm sure it was an accident. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to put her in timeout. Can we bring her back in, guys? Or is that just for one sentence? Say it again, Diane. I think you said something about an interesting concept. I'll have to teach Brenda to be more careful with her trigger finger. Don't make the Canadians mad, Brenda. We're trying to keep them good neighbors. But Mike liked it a lot, though. Mike, you're not helping. I'm trying to tell Brenda not to do it, and you're encouraging it. Oh, yes, you did, babe. I'll have to. You didn't mean to, I'm sure. Carol says, I like what you're saying. I think it's good. I think it's good to think. I mean, sometimes just thinking about things like that is helpful. And like I say, most religious philosophies have something similar in them. I mean, there are no changes are permanent, but no changes are permanent, but charge is. Changes, yes, okay. No, sorry, Diane. I hope you're still listening. 300 seconds is almost up. She'll be back, boy. She's gonna be hot, mad at you, Brenda. She's gonna be buzzing around here like a meat bee. Yeah, that's true. Probably true. Brenda says if she's trying to do it again, she couldn't. Mike, Diana can still read your comments. She may be the victim of great accidents soon. Yeah, Mike, don't forget that she can still read yours. Just because she can't post doesn't mean she can't. She doesn't mean she can't read what you're saying. And Mike wasn't thinking about that. I'm believing. Remember though, Mike, Diana is not timed out at home where you are. That's a good point too. You're within arm's reach of her. I'd be very careful. What about Garrett? Mike? Why is Garrett not in here? He should be here today. He told me he was going to be in here today. So if you see him, you give him crap over that because he told me he'd be here tonight. I talked to him yesterday, or I think, or maybe it was Monday. But anyway, whenever it was, we discussed him being here tonight. And he said he'd see me tonight. Don't see him. Brenda, look there, you did a good thing. You brought Doug into a little bit more harmonious. You made him laugh, and you can't laugh if you're not feeling somewhat in harmony. Garrett and Doug. Okay, well, whatever. If you think you can get away with that, you probably can. You're probably the biggest guy in the room. Oh, guys. Okay, I appreciate you indulging in that little bit of a side trip there, but I think we'll talk about it some more someday. It's I've just been impressed. It's meant a lot to me to read about it, and I'll be honest, I've always leaned more towards some of the Native American religions anyway. Most of my life since I was a kid, actually, even when I was a young kid in normal churches, that I used to tell people that was not how, I looked at things a little differently. What was the topic tonight, Phil? It was about harmony. I decided to talk about harmony and the Navajo belief in living in harmony, and how sometimes it was hard because, like, when I went to Kroger and people were not parking correctly and they were not in line at the drive-through for the drugstore pharmacy, how it made me really mad. And now the other night I just decided to show some of them, and a little old lady came up to my window and we had a little shouting match, and then she went away. That's it in a nutshell. Oh, well, send it to me, Tina. Is Diana back in the room now? Yeah, Brenda G. Just tell me if you don't like me. Oh yeah, we did have some discussion about goats and sheep too, Phil. But it was mostly about harmony and how much the world feels out of harmony. But walking in harmony or walking in beauty is the basic tenet, or one of the basic tenets of the Navajo religion, and that's what I was talking about because it feels like such a simple thing in a way, but that's their belief in it. You kind of gotta let things go, and you can't let everything eat everybody up. Anybody ever listen to John Anderson? No, I haven't. Elias of Sun Hollow. Is that what you? No, but it sounds like that's something I need to check out. Brenda put Diane in the corner. Nobody puts Diane in the corner. It's good advice. It is good advice from the Navajo. I think it's just there's a good idea there. One of the records I got stoned to. Okay. I'll have to check that out, Phil. I bet I can find that online. I have to write that down before I forget it. Where'd it go? Elias of Sun Hollow. Who is it by? John Anderson. I'll check that out, Phil. Thanks. Brenda says, just hope I'm not hanging on to the other end of the rope when you let go, Diana. You should have thought of that before you booted her out of the room, Brenda. Because next time you're hanging over the cliff, you might want to think about who's got that rope. You might want to think about who might be the one to take you out of harmony forever. Kind of like the old boom writing a kisser all the way to the moon or whatever it was they used to say on the honeymooners. Oh, okay. Well, I knew the name. That's okay. I'll check that out. All right, guys. I'm out today. But think about that. I mean, think about how much easier it might be to live in harmony. Brenda, I think Brenda's a witness to how hard it is for me sometimes. Politics, laws, just all kinds of things. People not getting in line at the Kroger parking lot. And on one hand, I took that as when she came up, I was ready to go at her. And then when it was all said and done, I kind of thought about getting out of the car and going over and apologizing. I didn't, but I thought about it. Bang, zoom, right straight to the moon. That's right, Alice. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for the cigar boxes again, Phil. And Mike, Diana, most of you guys, hopefully I'll see you Saturday morning. I'm almost afraid to tell you what we're going to talk about, but because you might think it's going to be boring, but I don't think it's going to be. We're actually going to talk some more about dogs, but we're going to go back in time a little bit and talk more about the domestication thereof. I kind of skipped over that some last weekend because I wanted Mark to be there, and he thinks he can make it this weekend. So he thought that would be a good topic too. So we're probably going to go down that path, and we'll see from there. So everybody have a good evening. Thanks everybody for being here. I love y'all. Thanks for your support and your help, and the chat getting involved, and even for Brenda kicking. Diana, I'm sorry Brenda kicked you out of the chat, but Brenda, thank you. You get an A for effort in trying to participate, so good for you. See you later, guys.